I'm your father, Kanan. Shit crazy, right? It made me laugh too.
And I'm sure we all found it as funny as Kanan did. This was a laugh which said, yeah right, you're out your goddamn mind. Rock was right, you are crazy. And that's because Rock has been feeding and brainwashing Kanan for so long. And she warned him Howard may step to him and start saying some crazy shit. But his mind is all twisted and he's always been unstable. Now we all know different, but Kanan didn't. And Howard knew he'd have to work hard to get his son to believe him. And even though he no longer needs a bone marrow transplant, I do think there are two motives behind Detective Howard telling Kanan he's his father. One, he actually wants a relationship with Kanan, and he wants to be in his life. He told Detective Berg he was a man who is now reborn, and now he's got a second chance to do things different. And two, he holds the key to Kanan turning against Rock and putting an end to all her lies. Now, we could also argue Rock is turning Kanan against her all by herself with her continuous lies, and we even had more of it in episode 3. Not only did she not tell Kanan about Scrappy's death, but she tried to cover it up as a suicide, maybe because she realized what the truth of Dewey's death did to Kanan, and so she didn't want to risk pushing Kanan further away. So far this season, we've seen Rock trying to reconnect with Kanan after being away from him for 3 months, because there is definitely this tension and a bit of distance between them, which is why we're probably going to see Rock taking Kanan on a little camping trip, which we're going to come back to later on in this video. But just to add some more context to her trying to keep Kanan close by and how she's facing threats she's never faced before, Patina Miller said this: "You will see her sweat in a way you've never seen her sweat before. This woman is ferocious. Things are happening in real time and she's dealing with a lot. There are some things you'll never see coming, and I hope that people enjoy it, but strap in for the ride." And no doubt, Kanan and Detective Howard are one reason why she's beginning to sweat, and rightly so. Unique is also the other reason, and you could also say Lulu, because he wants out of the game, but Lou and Unique are an analysis for a different video. So coming back to Kanan, he didn't believe a word that came out of Howard's mouth, so he went along with his normal business, linked up with Famous, and even helped him make some real money. He stole a bag of drugs and they were used for Famous's mixtapes to disguise them on the streets, and so they got one over the cops that were hassling them in episode 2. But we all know how Kanan's actions have consequences, and the evidence that was left on the floor will definitely come back. And if Kanan does get in trouble again, maybe Howard could step in and save Kanan as a way of showing him he'll do what he can to protect him. Now, Kanan was always going to tell Jukebox about Howard, and she said the same thing. No way, he's crazy and he couldn't be his father. But whether she actually knows something is yet to be seen, but she does know more family secrets than Kanan does. But let's look at the perspective from Detective Howard. Now, I think Howard knew it would take more than him just telling Kanan he's his father. He knows Rock has been brainwashing him for years, so why not just throw him the paternity results and prove to him he is who he says he is? Now, I think the reasoning behind Howard not doing so is because he didn't want to throw too much at Kanan too quick and push him away, but he knows he had to do more to prove what he said was true. Now, at first, I did wonder why this conversation was here with this hooker, but after a rewatch, it really did make perfect sense. The conversation with this hooker made him realize how to get Kanan to believe him that he is his father.
What else he knows? My son knows that I would die for him, that I would lay down my life for his, and at the end of the day, that's all he needs to know. Because that's all that really matters.
She mentioned how she would do anything for her son, include die for him, and this is what Detective Howard did. He took a bullet from Kanan, but he hasn't snitched or got him and Rock in any trouble since he got back up on his feet. And this is how he convinced Kanan. If he's willing to die for him, then this should say it all. And this is where Kanan thought, shit, maybe there is some truth to this after all.
Now, I took that bullet from you, and now I'm gonna take one for you. I ain't telling nobody about what happened in the park. I wouldn't do that to my son.
So now the question is, what does Kanan do now that he's got an even bigger seed of doubt in his mind? This time I don't see him step in to Rock with the latest Howard meeting, and I'm not so sure he'll even tell Duke. This is where I think he's gonna meet Vernon Stark to try and get some answers. Now, how he comes to finding Vernon is yet to be seen, but I wouldn't be surprised if Howard says go and speak to Defcon's brother or relative in prison, and he'll tell you all about Defcon and how he wasn't even into Rock. It was all for appearance's sake.
Defcon was left-handed. Ain't fuck with no girls. I was his cover.
Defcon was a fucking fairy?
But in the official trailer, we hear Vernon Stark telling Kanan it's time to get it. But we all know trailers can be a little misleading, so let's see what comes from this conversation between Kanan and Vernon Stark. Now, we do have to touch on DEFCON. Howard spoke of him in the past tense, but when he searched DEFCON on the system, there was only his incarceration date. There was no date where he passed away, so I don't think we've had official confirmation that he is dead, but it does point in that direction. But then again, who knows with Rock? So, coming back to the relationship between Rock and Kanan, she knows Kanan slipping away from her control. He's already stealing from her business and going behind her back. So we're gonna see her trying to connect with Kanan on some sort of trip away. And these are a few scenes from the official trailer. But will this only make things worse? At times, Rock really doesn't help herself. And ironically, where we see Rock digging a grave for a person she's just killed, she may as well dig her own grave at the same time, because hers is just getting deeper the more she lies and manipulates. And what really will be the final nail in the coffin for Rock in terms of a relationship with Kanan is Breeze. As soon as Breeze is introduced, whether it be at the end of season 2 or at some point in season 3, we're gonna see Kanan turn on Rock and all the lies will catch up. In Power, we learn Kanan came up under Breeze and not Rock. So at some point there has to be a shift in the storyline, and I can see this happening at some point in season 3, with the foundation being set in season 2's finale. Now on the relationship with Howard, it really is difficult to say, because Kanan did say this in Power.
So when you find out you got a dad?
I don't know. Not long ago. So don't trip and don't waste it.
I ain't never had one. I don't know, go to a ball game or some shit.
So he's never had much of a relationship with his father, so can we expect Kanan to build a bond with Detective Howard? I'm not so sure, but do they stick with this storyline, or will we see them sway away from this? Again, it's one that's up in the air, and we've just gotta wait and see. I personally can't see Kanan having a relationship with Howard, even if he does turn on Rock, and it goes back to the Breeze factor. Kanan learned his ways under Breeze, and then he had Ghost and Tommy under him. But either way, this storyline is going to pick up some pace in the second half of the season, and I think we're in for a death or two come the end of season 2, especially because Rock won't want the streets knowing Kanan is the son of a cop, and she was also involved with Howard, because in season 1, Howard did warn Rock if word got out she was sleeping with a cop, it'd make her look like a snitch, and that's one of the big factors in Power. Reputation. Everything that Rock does depends on reputation. It's one of the cornerstones to Power. So let's see what direction they take this in. And that's a breakdown of where we are with the situation between Kanan, Rock, and Detective Howard, and where it possibly is heading in the future. So drop all your thoughts down below on Kanan's next move. And do you think he'll have a relationship with Howard? And what do you think could be revealed in this conversation with Vernon Stark? Drop all your comments down below in the comment section, and of course if you are new to the channel and you haven't done so already, then remember to smash the subscribe button if you want to see everything Power Book 3 and Power Universe related. But as always, thanks you guys for watching, and I'll see you next time.